What up, world? EstablishRich coming right back at you. Look, today we got to talk about something that keeps going on. The Nas disrespect that's coming out of New York City. Fivio Foreign just sat down with Jim Jones and basically said he didn't listen to Nas growing up. He tried to clean it up by saying Nas is a legend, but he can't quote a single bar or song except for one mic. First of all, that's pathetic. How you from New York, how are you a rapper, and you can't recite one Nas verse? But let me take it a step further. Fivio Foreign said he looked up to Chief Keef. Chief Keef, who is 5 years younger than him. So let me get this straight. You was 21 years old looking up to a 16-year-old from Chicago. And that's your defense for not listening to Nas. That statement alone shows how lost New York is.
King of New York right now.
Yeah.
So when I'm hearing about this craziness about Nas, he's worn the crown in New York for years.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's
what do you think about what the slimy
and all that. That Nas did too much to, to be to be disrespected like that, that's big bro where I'm from. All right, let me just say one thing, what I feel. And I'm not saying that the man is wacky, he's not a legend, he's been out for years. So I got a song with the nigga, and I got a song on the album, and the album got a Grammy. But I can't sit there and say a Nas bar to you, or a song, I like one mic, or like a song that's like,
but I can.
It's just not me.
So, but I understand. Who was some of the people that you wanted to dress like? Like, let me hear some of that, because that's that's the essence of what makes a nigga become a basketball player. What makes a nigga become like? Who was that for you?
I'm gonna keep it real. I was infatuated with Chief Keef in Chicago.
New York hip-hop been in the funk for decades because this is how y'all move. Y'all would rather hate on your legends than embrace them. Down south, it's different. In Atlanta, you can't find the artists that won't praise Outkast, who won't acknowledge Goody Mob, who don't respect 8 Ball and MJG. In Houston, they gonna bow to Scarface, UGK, Rap-A-Lot. In Memphis, you gonna hear the names 3-6 Mafia, Play or Fly. Even the West Coast knows how to honor their legends. They lift up Ice Cube, they lift up Dr. Dre, they lift up Snoop, Quick, E40. But New York will rather tear down Nas than lift him up. And don't tell me I'm lying. It's a pattern. How many times have we seen New York ninjas go out of their way to disrespect Nas? It wasn't enough that he had to battle Jay-Z just to get his respect. Even after dropping Illmatic, the greatest hip-hop album of all time, New York rappers still want to downplay him. They still want to pretend like Nas ain't one of them ones. But you notice who they will big up? They always big up Jay-Z, but not because of music, because of money. They don't respect Jay-Z because of Reasonable Doubt. They respect Jay-Z because he's a billionaire. New York equates money with respect, but they can't seem to recognize pure artistry when it's right there in their face. And that's why New York has been stagnant. The South took over because the South lifted each other up. Atlanta built a culture on unity, on respecting the ones that came before. New York built a culture on ego and envy. When your legends are still alive and you won't even celebrate them, that's a culture doomed to lose. And that's exactly why the power shifted down south. Look at Kendrick Lamar. New York rappers treat him the same way they treat Nas. They try to make it seem like if you listen to Kendrick or Nas, you one of them smart niggas, one of them artsy niggas. Like being intelligent or having depth in your music is a problem. How backwards is that? You ridicule the very traits that make hip-hop great. And Fivio Foreign is the perfect example of this mentality. A drill artist. That's his whole style. And look, I'm not knocking drill. It's got its place. But when the face of New York hip-hop is somebody who says he never really listened to Nas, that's an embarrassment. And Jim Jones sat there and co-signed it, which makes sense because Jim is one of the ones who has been trying to downplay Nas for years. This is why New York hip-hop is in the condition it's in. Too much ego, too much jealousy, too much hate. If you can't respect Nas, who can you respect? If you can't respect the man who dropped Illmatic, who kept dropping classics decade after decade, whose pen is still untouchable, then you can't respect hip-hop. And look, me, I'm tired of the Nas slander. Because at the end of the day, Fivio Foreign told on himself. He said he was looking up to Chief Keef at 21 years old. That alone tells you where his mind was. A grown man looking up to a 16-year-old while ignoring Nas, one of the greatest MCs in history from your own city. New York should be ashamed of that. So let's be clear. New York, y'all need to stop hating on y'all legends. The West Coast bigs up their legends. The South bigs up their legends. Only New York seems to think tearing down their legends is a sport. And that's why the crown been gone for so long. Nas is not just a legend. He is hip-hop royalty. And anybody who can't see that is either jealous, ignorant, or lost. And if New York wants to reclaim the throne, they need to learn to love their legends. The way the South do, the way the West do. Because until then, the disrespect will keep on costing them. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, EstablishRich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.